Hey, it's working. Cool. I don't know how much of this I can show without getting too much trouble, but the stereo speakers are all sounding really good. All right, I'm really happy with this. I'm going to go ahead and you can see this TV from the angle too, which is nice. A lot of them, they kind of go blank. But anyway, I'm going to shut this off and get things adjusted a little better. Well, I took her outside and gave her a bath. Washed off that roof really good so I can get it cleaned up, getting ready to put those solar panels on. It's its first bath since I've owned it. I just gave it a quick one. Didn't get real crazy with it. Looks a little better. Man, you realize if they would have kept this thing inside instead of outside, what a nice shape this thing would be in. Yeah, they kept it in the reserve yard out there. Just a dirt lot. But it was in the city of Placentia. And yeah, they didn't clean it too much. It was pretty dusty. If it hadn't rained on it, it would have really looked bad. Now letting it run for a little while. Clean it out a little bit. Okay, I'll get back with you guys as soon as it dries off and I get the roof clean. Hey, Rubes. Hey, buddy. Did you find a comfy spot, huh? You're a good boy. What's your tail flipping around for? You mad? Rubes. Ruby. I think he's mad about something. Probably mad at me for bugging him. Well, as soon as this bus dries off a little bit, and I'll get it in here and we'll get those panels started put on it. I'm talking like an idiot right now. We're going to start putting the panels on it. In the meantime, I'll go build the panels and put the Z brackets on it, and we'll just go from there. All right, I'll catch you guys in a little bit. Hey, got it all cleaned out in here too. Swept it out. I had a pretty good little mess going on in here. You know, I was thinking it'd probably be a good time for me to check and see if there was any moisture in this thing coming through. Make sure my work is good. That's all beautiful. What about this guy? Did you get wet? Nope. No water. No drips. Okay. Well, let's go check the bathroom one. Nothing. How do you like that, huh? You can't beat that. All right. Well, I better quit wasting film. We got work to do. Okay, so we're going to put some brackets on the solar panels, and they're 21 inches wide and they're 47 inches long. So I need to get a tape measure and get up there on the roof and plan out where I'm going to put these, and also make it where I can put two more on there later on if I feel like it, or if somebody else wants to. And if I space those correctly, you might be able to get them all the way across the back there. It might be a good spot for them. But I'll just run you through this real quick. And first thing you're going to do is get that Renogy box that looks like this, and it has the nuts and bolts in it, and it also has these brackets, the Z brackets. So what you want to do is, these are the two holes that are going to mount to the roof of the bus or the van or whatever you're putting it on. So you want to put it like this, where they L this direction, so it raises them off the roof of the bus. You got to remember, this is all upside down, what you see in here. And what they give you here is 2 flat washers, a regular nut, and a locking washer, and the little nut. A little bolt. So there's the kitty. Been looking for him all morning. Haven't been able to find him. What I do is I put it on this way. Put the washer on it, then I put it up through the bottom like that with the washer on it. See? And then I put this on the bracket where it raises this up off the roof of the bus. Hello, Ruby Doobs. Hi, buddy. How you doing? You're not going to jump up here, are you? Come on. You can come up. I don't care. You say hi to everybody. Anyway, the flat washer goes on, locking washer, then the nut. So it goes flat washer, like that, under the bottom. Turn this so the L is facing upward on it. Ruby, come here, buddy. Come here, little buddy. Flat washer, lock washer, and the nut. Then I'll have to go get a little socket wrench and tighten this down really good. Come here, kitty. Come here, buddy. Rubes, come here, buddy. What are you doing, huh? Yeah, he disappeared on me last night. Couldn't find him. Couldn't find him all day today. And he just finally showed up. I don't know what he's been doing. But he was I calling for him in the back shop again, and all of a sudden he answered me. He decided just to answer me, and he come crawling out from under some boxes there, and nothing wrong with him. He's just fine. Just wanted a little bit of kitty time, I guess. He gave us an extra one, just in case. Unless it goes on this one. Ah, there it goes. That's what I need that for. Well, I didn't think they'd be that kind as to happen to give you an extra one, just in case. And I'm getting ahead of myself again there. Put this on first. Washer. Lock ring. Lock washer. I don't want to confuse you guys. And then the nut. Okay, so we got those on. I'll tighten these up with a wrench, good and snug, and we'll go from there. Oh, I thought I'd mention this just to maybe save you guys a little bit of hassle. These bolts and nuts are 10 millimeter, both on both sides, so you'll need a couple wrenches to tighten that down. And before you go and mount this thing up on the roof and seal it down, make sure you've released these things. Otherwise they'll be underneath the panel and you won't be able to get to them, and you'll have to take the darn thing back off again. So just a little FYI there. And I'm going to roll this thing over real quick. So you can see how it mounts. See how it sits up off the table? So it'll sit off your roof the same way, but there's not a lot of room under there. So I'm going to go ahead and put the mounts on the other one, and I'm going to carry them back there, and we'll get them set up on the roof and get them sealed down. Okay guys, I've positioned them up into place, and right behind the escape hatch, and they fit perfectly if I wanted to put 3 across right there. I'm putting 2 in. 1 more can be added later for 300 watts if someone feels like they don't have enough solar, but I think this is adequate for what we have going on inside the vehicle. And but you know, there's always room for improvement depending on what you do in there and how much you you know, use the entertainment center and video editing or whatever, you know. But anyway, there's exactly the right amount of room to put another one just like this over there. And there's the hatch open. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mark these holes on all of these, and I'm going to pre-drill them. Then I'm going to come out here with some of the non-flowing type die core, and I'm going to go on the underside of this. I'm going to set it down into it and put my screws in. Then I'm going to cover the top of this with some more die core. I think I have enough of the float, the self-leveling, that I can do the self-leveling on it and make a big puddle right there and make a nice seal on that. And I will get my my lines out of there before I do this though. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go through the bulkhead right here by this door right here, and that's where the bulkhead intrusion is going to come in, where the 2 wires will go into it. They'll actually come down and come up through the bottom side. That'll, if I put them through the top side, the water may travel down them and get past somehow, I don't know. And I'm going to take all these screws out here too later on and replace them with new ones, probably stainless steel. Then I'm going to sand this whole frame right here, this gutter, and I'm going to go ahead and spray that white again. So you know, any of this little surface stuff on here, I'll just come right off of there, and I'll treat it and make sure that's taken care of. Okay, so we're starting the solar, guys. That's what everybody wanted, so here we go. And I did get the batteries too, so I'll show those to you. Give me a second. Okay, here are my deep cycle batteries. They're Interstate GC2 deep cycle extreme batteries, and you can see right here that they're 225 amp hours right here. So that doesn't mean when you hook these together that you have you know, 450 amp hours. You don't. You only have the amperage of one of the batteries because you're turning it to a 12 volt. So it'll be, by hooking these together, see, I've got a cable here, and I will go from the negative right here to the positive right here, and that'll leave me the positive and the negative on this side. See, I can't get back far enough. Here I am. That'll be like a regular 12 volt battery, because there'll be your negative, and on this battery there will be your positive, and these two here will be tied together, which will make a 12 volt cell out of the two 6 volts, and it makes a really heavy duty setup, and I haven't had much problem with them. I just been running them in all the buses so far, and I think they've been wonderful. So here we are right now, and I've got to go fix up my battery box, and I'm going to get this set up inside the battery box, and I'll get those panels hooked down, and then we'll start in with the wiring. That's where it gets interesting. All right, I'll see you in a few. Well, good rainy morning, everybody. Can you tell it's raining? Is it raining, Rubes? I think it's raining. What are you doing? You can't crawl up that side. Poor kitty. He does not like the rain. Nope. It's so dark in here right now. I had to turn on lights. Well, I'm going to be pulling this battery out of here, and I'm going to be putting those two 6 volts in, and the deep cycle golf cart batteries. And so I'm going to go ahead and get you guys set up on a stand. I'm going to start the process here, so give me a second. All right, there we go. So the first thing I'm going to do, so I don't get mixed up at all, which I doubt I would, but it's, you never can tell, you know. Yeah, rubes. I'm going to mark all these positives with a red band on them, so there is no mistake. Positives are the positives. We don't want any little mistakes going on here. Okay, so we'll take the tie down off first. Ruby, buddy, crybaby. Well, all right. They just put these batteries in this bus. They just got a little dust on them from me traveling. But yeah, they're brand new when I bought the bus. Okay, so that goes on there. And looks like we got another band of wires here that needs to be remembered that they're all going to the positive side. So I'll put some red tape on these too. You gotta remember, this one's still hot because it's got power coming from the main battery. And there's the negative. I'll put that back on so I don't lose it. There we go. All right. So I'm going to get something to put over top of that so it doesn't short out on anything while I'm working. Hey there. What are you doing up there, buddy? He just climbed the ladder. Jumped up there onto the roof. You having fun up there? Huh, Robes? You having fun up there, buddy? You getting down? All right, come on. Oh, you're a goofball. You're all wound up this morning. Yep. Crazy kitty. Well, the battery had a nice handy dandy little handle on it, so I pulled it out. And that's a 12 volt, and it's heavy duty, you know, it's a commercial type battery. It's not a deep cycle, but it weighs half of what one of those 6 volts weighs. I mean, that dude is not very tall. Not very big compared to, look at the height on these guys. Much bigger battery, and these things weigh twice as much. I'm a big dude, and I have a very hard time picking one of these up. Of course, my back doesn't feel too great when I pick them up, so I'm going to have to go recruit some help to get these things set into that drawer. I'll be back in a minute. Well, I did it again. Can you guys see that? Yeah, they're too tall. I'm going to have to take them back. and figure out something different. I've modified it. I took the crossbar off of this, modified as much as I can, but they're just too darn big to go in there. I thought I measured that out pretty good too. What I did is I measured it to the top of the battery instead of the top of the cap. And even this little lug ring is hitting, so yep. Well, I got to go back to square one here and start over. So I'll be back with you guys in a little bit. Okay guys, what I did is I exchanged those 6-volt batteries for interstate marine RV deep cycle batteries. These are 12-volt now. So I'm going to have to hook these up differently together. I need 2 cables now instead of 1. So basically what I'm going to need to do here, they fit perfectly in here. Matter of fact, there's enough room back there to put one more. These have 130 amp hours. That's what I was told there at the dealer. 130 amp hours each. So that would make 260 amp hours. You could actually put another one back there and jump this up to 390 amp hours, which is pretty darn good. And looks like my cables, they're a little long. Yeah, I'm going to put these on for right now. I can change them out afterwards, but I want to get this thing in here. And I'm going to question them on the size of this too. This does not look like a great size for that wire. Okay, so these two are tied together now. So it remains 12 volt, but they're together. They will charge together and discharge together. And what I'm going to do is on this positive side, I'm going to run this up here, and the negative side is going to go back here. That way that makes this into one big 12 volt battery. I think it will discharge and charge more evenly if we do that. So so the next thing I'm going to do then these are actually hot leads going off to other things, which I'm not sure what they go to, but I do have to hook them back up because they were hooked up like that before. And that's my negative line. So it's bigger than a half. Nine sixteenths. Okay. Well, maybe I did too good of a job wrapping this up, huh? Ah, there. Take off that extra one there. These wires were connected right here. I think I'm just going to put them, yeah, I think I'm just going to put them back here. It's going to make one bit of difference. It just keeps them out of the way. So we got to put this guy here. Whoops. It's barking. And is there anything else? I think all the rest of the wires we've got hooked up. All right, that was kind of painless after we got the initial problem solved. So, I'm going to go in and check the lights out, and I'll be back with you in a minute. Okay guys, so far I've drilled, oops, gosh darn it. Okay, I've drilled the holes here, and here, and here, let me see if I can turn this a little more. Okay, I've drilled the holes here and here, and I put die-core underneath it. These are going to be sitting side by side, so there's a matching hole under these two right here. But anyway, I put die-core under it, and I loosely set one screw on each side here. That way I can go down on that end, lift it up, and do the same thing down there. Then I will come back and I will set all these screws down in nice and tight, all 4 of them, because there's going to be 4 on each end. So there'll be 8 screws altogether. And all I'm putting in are these number 14 screws, and they're 3/4 inch long. And I've pre-drilled the holes, and they're ready to roll. So grab me a couple of these screws and head on down the other end. I'll come up through the hatch there. I'll take 4 of these screws with me. And we'll get this thing handled here. Give me a second. I'm going inside the bus. It'll take me a minute to get there. Hello. Okay. So this is what I did on the other side too. I just got it up high enough that I could get some die-core under here, around the screw holes. Ruby, quit hollering. Now I'll do one on this side too. Remember those wires I was warning you about not forgetting? I almost forgot them. But I got them. They're right here. Alright, so I'm going to get a screw in here. Right here. Ruby wants up here so bad he can't stand it. He's down there pulling on my leg. You know, since I'm right here, I think I'm just going to go ahead and put the die core over these right now. Okay, I'm heading back your way again. All right, heading up there. I know this is awkward, but it's the only way I could figure out to do it, so you guys could see what I was doing. So now we can go ahead and finish locking this down. Uh-oh, being a mess. Okay. Bury that screw head and die core. Okay. So I'm going to do this to the next one, and we're going to have our panels up. It's that simple. Okay, give me a minute here. Okay, I've got the second set. See, the screws are loose. That's so I can pick up that end over here and put some more die core under it, then set the screws, and I'll come back and set these, and I'll go down there on the ladder and set those two back down there. And then basically we can start all this wiring up. I'll have to drill the inlet hole over here and put the intrusion plate back over it, the one that locks down the wires and seals them. And I'm going to go get this done. I'll bring you back when we're doing that. Give me a minute. But here we are, guys. They're all in there. If you include the time I took to put the tabs on here, I might have maybe 50 minutes into this whole thing. So you guys really don't have any excuse not to do this yourself. This is not hard to do. If you're a small person, you may need a little bit of help getting these panels up, but once they're in place, it's just a matter of scooting them around a little bit, drilling your holes, blowing off the shavings from drilling, and then just go ahead and hooking these down. I may still come back over this with a self-leveling one, just to make sure it's glued down, so it kind of looks like that over there. But I really don't think it needs it. I don't think that's going to go anywhere. I might just save the stuff to go along that seam right there. I think I don't like the looks of that seam, so I'm going to redo it. And I need to go along here too. Yeah. But anyway, there's the hatch open. I'm going to get cleaned up here, and then we're going to drill that hole right here. And we're going to go ahead and put the wires in. Once we get the wires in the bus, I think we're probably going to have to call this one because it's starting to get a little long. But I'll get that put in first, and then we'll get the wires strung into the bus. Then we can start doing all the interior wiring for the solar to the batteries. Okay? All right, guys. I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, guys, I'm back with you here. So each one of these solar panels has two wires coming off of it, a positive and a negative. And the wires are marked on the underside with a little white tag. And they go into these Y connectors, or I think they're called MP4 connectors, or that's a technical name for them. But anyway, you take the positive from one panel and the positive from the other panel and hook it in. Then the negative over here from one panel to the negative to the other panel, and you click it in. Now, these things only go together one way, so you can't really goof this part of it up. Once you got the two wires hooked up, then you know what your positive and your negative is. So we've got that handled right now. So what I did here is I drilled a hole into the roof of the bus right there, and I'm going to seal this thing down. And these two wires here are going to go up and they're going to connect right into those right there. I've got a positive here and a negative here. Now it can get confusing because of the opposites on this side right here, but you can see right there it says positive on it. So, and this one here says negative on it. So I need to connect these two into those two and screw this down and seal it. And then I can move on to the inside. But we're going to do that on the next episode. So I'm going to go ahead and connect these real quick, and I'll come right back with you. Okay, I got the intrusion panel on here, and I went ahead and used some tape on this because I couldn't find a way of doing it any other way without causing a huge mess. And this will keep it nice and dry. If it doesn't, I've always got lots of die-cord that I can go around the edge with. So what happens here is these things have little rubber things in them, and as you tighten this up, it tightens up on this cable here, and the cable then becomes watertight because the little O-ring smashes down onto it when you tighten this. So I always face these downward, so water will be running down this way, and even if water ran down these wires, it would get to here and drip off the end. It wouldn't travel back up in. That's always why I do that. So, and I'm running out of battery, guys, so there's the connections there, and I still need to hook these wires down. I want to figure out a way to do this, hook these down flush. But anyway, I'm running out of battery, and we're going to call this the end of this episode, and we'll get in there and start in with the wiring and putting in the charge controller next. But all in all, this thing's looking pretty good. All right, I'll see you on the next one.